So in this lesson, we're going to be looking at figuring out the maximum and minimum values and their position and what angle they occur at when you're asked a wave function question. So you could get a question like this. Express cos x plus 4 sin x in the form of k cos x minus a between 0 and 2 pi, hence or otherwise find the minimum and maximum values of x for which they occur. Cool. So what you'd want to do is just solve this question like any other question. So you want to expand out the trig function. So this becomes k cos x cos alpha plus k sine x sine alpha, cos x cos x sin x sin x. So k cos alpha equals 1, k sine alpha equals 4. K is going to be equal to 16 plus 1 equal to root 17. Alpha is going to be equal to tan 4 over 1. Check the quadrants. Okay, so both in the first quadrant, so A is equal to 1.33. Remember, we're working in radians here. So that will give us root 13 cos x minus 1.33. Okay, so usually we'd be done now, but remember they've asked us here for the minimum and maximum values. Okay, so let's have a think. If we think about a normal cos graph, it looks a bit like this, right? So the maximum usually happens here, and then the minimum is here, right? But we're told here it's root 13 cos x minus 1.3, so this would be root 13. Actually, not the root, sorry, I don't know where I got 13 from. 17. So this is root 17, and this is minus root 17. Okay, but now, so before we would have said, oh, the max is at 0 and 2 pi and pi, right? But obviously now it's been shifted, so it's no longer going to be at that position. It's been shifted so much long. So now it's going to look a bit like this. Okay, apologies. I don't think that's not a great sketch, so let's try that again. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so that's been shifted along. So this is going to be 0 plus 1.33. That's going to be pi plus 1.33. Okay, and this here, this point is actually not even going to be in the between 0 and 2 pi interval. Okay, but we'll just go through and do it bit by bit. So max is equal to, well, 0 and 2 pi. So max old. Max new is equal to 0 plus 1.33 and 2 pi plus 1.33. Then the minimum, min old, is equal to pi. Min new is going to be equal to pi plus 1.33. Okay, so what is this going to equal? So this is just 1.33, and this will be 7.61. Okay, and remember that this 7.61 is outside, it's too big, it's beyond the 2 pi. 2 pi is 6.2 or so, right? So outside range. Okay, so your max value is going to be, max is 1.33 root 17 and min is going to be 4.47 minus root 17. Okay, so the thing you need to think about here is figure out what the maximum and minimum will always be equal to plus or minus k, and then the position at which they occur will depend on whether it's cos or sine you're looking at. So just going back to our previous lesson, know where the maximum and minimums occur for these angles, right? For these sine graphs and cos graphs, and then move forward or backward there using, whether it's plus or minus. So I'm just going to show you a little sketch from Desmos, again, just to try and show you again what's going on. Okay, so here's our graph from the question, root 17 cos x. So that would be the original, one on what the graph would look like normally. But in our question, we had root 17 cos x minus 1.33, right? So you can see here that it's been shifted along a little bit, and then we check the maximums, minimums. Yeah, that makes sense, isn't it? That's what we said. 1.33 and 4.123, which is the root 17, and same here as well. Okay, so I hope that makes sense.